A lot of people nowadays have this misconception that it's the stiff guy, the James Bond type character that gets all the women. That it's the stoic guy, the guy with the strong jawline, with the nice suit, who lacks emotion, who lacks an emotional range, who is incapable of being goofy or fun. You guys get this misconception that this is the problem, that if only you were just more like James Bond, that you get the girl. And some of you guys have tried this. You guys tried standing in the corner of the club, trying to act like James Bond, trying to look cool, and hoping a girl walks up to you. Now, this comes from a misconstrued place, because you see like the class clown in school, and the class clown doesn't get laid. All right, but you see the jock, and oftentimes that's the guy that like girls usually fawn over. Now, here's the truth of the matter. When it comes down to which strategy is going to get you better with women, the answer honestly is massively surprising, especially nowadays. It's the loose, fun guy that gets the attention. It's the bad boy. It's not the guy that acts like James Bond with the suit and tie. And also too, a lot of people have a misconception about the bad boy, which we'll get into again. Now, why do girls go for a bad boy? Because the alternative is a person that's going to treat you like an inauthentic character. At least this guy's willing to tell you the truth and be honest with you and not treat you like an object. At least this guy's willing to have a real conversation with you. As opposed to the other kinds of people, the James Bond type characters. These guys are playing up an act as opposed to being themselves, that have no range of emotions, that are incapable of telling you when you're doing something great or when you're doing something terrible, if you're fucking up. They're not going to be honest with you because they want something from you. They need you. As opposed to the bad boy. The bad boy character is himself regardless. So this character that I'm talking about right here, he does have a lot of layers to him, and that's actually what I want to get into in this video. I want to go down the layers and describe this individual through and through so you guys can actually emulate him. So let's get into that. So first and foremost, now here's the difference between this guy I'm talking about and the class clown. Firstly, he's masculine. He's a guy. He's not trying to play like some kind of character, trying to be like a dancing monkey, trying to get some kind of effect out of the girl. He's doing it for himself. He's doing it from a place of dominance. He's doing it from a place of, and by the way, positive dominance, not like a dictator-like dominance. I mean more like a lead them to the promised land kind of dominance. Like I'm gonna lead them, like Moses, like parting the Red Sea kind of dominance. Now, he's also grounded. Nothing affects him. He doesn't get wavered. He doesn't get moved. When things happen, he's okay. When a girl teases him, he doesn't think, oh my God, she's trying to say something negative about me. Instead, he spins in his head that she's trying to make jokes and try to add to the vibe. If something bad happens, he's resolute. He's there. He's fine. He has things handled. So the next point, loose, fun over stiff and serious. So like I said, the loose energy is good, just you have to merge it with the masculine. So loose and fun, have fun, be loose, be willing to be goofy sometimes. Because if you're goofy, it gives the girl permission to be goofy herself and to be authentic with you. Do you think a girl's gonna like wanna even sleep with you if she feels like you're gonna judge her? Of course not. She's gonna because she feels like you're gonna judge her, she starts judging herself and starts worrying the way that you're gonna view her if she acts a certain way, as opposed to just being herself. So you have to lead first. So next point, extroverted. This one's tough for a lot of you guys. You guys are like, I'm an introvert and I can't change it. I was an introvert, and yes, you can change it. You can totally change it. Here's the way you do it. Action feeds ego. You act as if you are extroverted long enough, and eventually you start getting feedback from the world that they like you being this extroverted person. At first, they're gonna fight you because people hate when people change characters. Even saying this in this video, some people are gonna get triggered because there's something in their brain that wants to fight this change in character. And so you guys are gonna try to change yourself. But here's what I'm gonna say that's gonna actually completely dismantle this argument. Look, if you want different results, it's not gonna come through like scamming the system. It's not gonna come through trying to get some kind of, maybe trying to find some kind of angle on people, or maybe like just being yourself. No, look, if you want something different, you have to be different, and that's the truth of the matter. That's end, period, truth of the matter. If you want something different, you have to be different, all right? If you want a different outcome out of life, you have to have a different input, all right? Now, here's the next part, no self-judgment while socializing. So when you're out socializing, I want you to turn to a frat boy. So when you're out talking to women, when you're out having fun with your friends, stop overthinking the interactions. This is like beta stuff. This is like the stuff that people do when they're, when they feel low in the totem pole. This kind of individual is not low in the totem pole. He's having a lot of fun. He's free-flowing. He's vibing with people. He's adding to the fun. He believes all his words are valuable. Now, if you're in the habit of self-judging in the negative, stop. Catch yourself doing this. focus is the water that wears the stone. So as you kind of lean into this and over time you focus on it, you notice it, it'll start dissipating and getting better. For me, I think the best outcome of this is instead of like, when you self-judge in the positive. But if you can't do that, just don't self-judge at all. It makes your life tenfold easier. It'll make your interactions a lot more authentic as well and a lot more impactful. The girls will like you tenfold more if you just do this simple thing. Now, next thing. When you do go home, after you're done with this, obviously write down field reports, think things through critically, try to improve. But when you're out, socialize. Frat boy, scientist, dichotomy. Outside, frat boy, and then when you're inside, like working, from there you're just sitting down, pen and paper, trying to figure it out, okay? Next point, you're a risk taker. Now, this one's actually a little bit more nuanced. It might not be something I'm gonna really go down the line of, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You take risks, all right? You take risks, calculated risks. You're willing to because you believe in yourself. You see a cute girl, you go for it. You see a job opportunity, you go for it. You are willing to trust and have faith in yourself. So Kanye is actually an amazing example of this. He has such extreme confidence in himself, and he was willing to take such risks because to him, they're not a risk. It's a done deal. So for him, that's massive. Now, next thing, willing to stand up for yourself. You have physical boundaries, emotional boundaries. You don't let people cross them. So when people are kind of like, I mean, at the same time, too, don't get emotional about this. If somebody does cross a boundary and you're just like, I don't know, it's in passing, it's gonna ruin your energy when you're out having fun, just ignore it, have fun, make a joke out of it. But if it happens enough times, sometimes it does help to stand up for yourself because it proves to your unconscious mind that I am of worth and I am valuable. And it happened for me when I was younger, where I was getting bullied by a lot of people. And one day I told myself, never again. And people sense that energy on the underneath. If you are the kind of person that says never again, I have boundaries, people sense it and they won't mess with you. All right. Next point, both the good and the bad. So whereas like people are always playing, this is the reason the girls don't like the nice guy again. They don't like it because it's obviously a game. So what guys usually do is they try to be the good guy. Nothing but good energy, giving positive feedback, telling the girl how awesome she is, never giving her anything negative. This is wrong. All right. But at the same time too, all right, if you're this guy going down this nice route for a long time and then you try to go back on it and you try to all of a sudden be bad, because this is what every guy does, don't get me wrong, it's exactly what everybody does, and then you try being nothing but assholes, it's not this that's gonna be the one that's gonna be the impactful one. It's gonna be the guy that can hit both sides, because you know why? Because it means you're being authentic and you're being real. And also, the lows highlight the highs. So the reason that a bad boy gets this energy is because he has the good heart, but he can like, at the same time too, he can have the other side to him as well. So the girl knows that his opinions matter more. His emotions matter more, which actually takes me to my next point, having the full spectrum of emotions. And I don't mean from like a weak place, but from a strength. Anger, sadness, happiness, excitement, laughter. He can express all these emotions from a place of strength. Now, this is, again, masculine energy. All right, I'm not saying like, you know, go crying on the girl's doorstep day one. That's just too much emotions. And also, not to mention too, it's wrecking an emotional boundary. You don't know this person that well yet, but with your friends, you can be sad because you know them personally, because you know them for a long time, because they care about you. With a girl you just met barely, obviously sadness is not usually the right answer unless you've known her for a while. Usually excitement, because it's just so fast. It's too much too fast. Like she doesn't need to hear about your problems, all right? But at the same time too, you still have the aspect of these emotions. You can still emote and express. You can still smile when you talk to a girl. You can also give her like a smirk. You can just like, you can play with the energy of the vibe through your facial expressions because you're very loose and relaxed with it. You're not, hey, how's it going? But at the same time too, you're not like, hey, dancing monkey, you're masculine, hey. See the difference? It's the middle ground. It's masculine, yet I'm still expressing emotions, okay? But not overexpressing to get an effect. It's because I feel a certain way, all right? Now, the next one is the Loki Effect, which is actually kind of cool. So this one essentially means that even when shit hits the fan, your groundedness is so resolute, you're still making jokes. You're still able to tease and mess around because the world for you is not a big deal. It's a very, so if you ever look at a guy who goes on stage and talks in front of like millions of people, you think this guy must be brave. No, this guy is just, for him, standing in front of millions of people and having speech is just not that big a deal. It's the same thing as it is probably for you to drive to work. Because he's over time of doing this again and again and again and proving to himself, he's made it to where this is just not that big a deal. So in the same way, for you, this needs to be not a big deal. Girls, not a big deal. Life in general, in comparison to the fact that you're gonna one day die and all your friends and everybody around you is gonna die, is this a big deal? Because the answer is probably fucking no. Okay, so get perspective essentially on life. Because I'm gonna tell you this, in comparison to the fact you're gonna die one day, it's not a big deal. All right, let's see. Last one, willingness to offend. You have to be willing to offend people. So you have to be willing to tell somebody when they're messing up. You need to be like, maybe put like a joke out there that you think is funny, it's gonna add a fun context to the vibe, but it's risking slightly offending her. If this is the case, that's fine. Because a bad boy type, a loose guy type, would be willing to offend a person, because if the person doesn't get the joke and the person is like kind of out there with it, then she wasn't meant to be around you to begin with. But if you're not willing to risk offending a girl, guess what? She's not gonna find you attractive to begin with, because you have that energy that says, look, I'll do anything to get you to like me, instead of choosing her, which again, this is big. Just because you approached her and found her cute does not mean you already were sold on her. She could be like an amazing person, but at the same time too, is she the kind of person that you want to talk to again and again? Can she be a best friend? Do you think she'd be fun to talk to? Or is she gonna bore the shit out of you? These are the questions you need to like answer when you're talking to the girl, because if the answer is yes or no, you need to make a decision based on these, not the fact that she's hot or attractive. Now, if you're getting into this for the first time, and you're still pretty fresh and you don't have abundance yet, I would say actually this last piece I would suspend for a little bit until you get a little more abundance. But once you get abundance, definitely get used to rejecting girls. You should be rejecting just as many girls as you're saying yes to, if not more. All right, with that being said, peace.
See me running out that door cause I'm gone, bitch, so long. I promise you that once I leave I can never run laps. I won't ever come back to my past, man, I can't, not a chance, cause the pain was insane from the way I was trapped. 22 years had to live through the crap, but I made my escape and the anger amassed. Pay back to the world, now I'm the man, bitch, I'm the motherfucking man.